And I label that A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, and E. So I've drawn an image. How many sides does that image have? If it has 5 corners, it has how many sides? 5 sides. Kind of makes sense. And then it has 5 angles, right? So I want to know the interior angle sum of that shape. How do I find the total interior angle of that shape? N minus 2 times 180 gives me the total angles, right? So what's my N? Yeah, the number of sides. So how many sides are there? 5. So we're going to substitute that in. 5 minus 2 times 180. And what do we get? 5 minus 2 times 180. 540. That total angle measure, if I added A plus B plus C plus D plus E, is going to be 540 degrees. And that works for every single polygon. If you know the number of sides, you can find out how many degrees in that whole shape. So let's look at number 3. You tell me, how would we do slide 3, number 2? It's very close, right? This is asking the interior measure of ABC. So this time, instead of wanting to know the total, I just want to know that one angle measure. So how would I do that? How'd you get the 10? Perfect. I agree. So I make little tick marks in them just to make sure I don't miss anything, because when the numbers get big, I start missing stuff. It's weird. So N minus 2 times 180. Perfect. So what is that answer? So that's going to be the total angles, right, of the interior. I don't know what I was trying to write there. Total interior. And what number is that? Perfect. So that means all of these angles, all 10 of them, add up to 1440. And I just want one of them. So how do I turn it into just the one angle? What do I have to do to divide by what? 10. Perfect. And that gives me each interior angle. So what number is that? 144. Yay. And there's some directions down here in case you forget. Everybody got that? Let's look at the yellow slide. Slide 4, number 3. What kind of shape is this? It is a trapezoid. And how many degrees should all the angles in a trapezoid add up to be? 360. So all you have to do is set up that equation. 3x plus x plus 25 plus 95 plus 80 equals 360. How do we solve that equation? What's step number 1 in solving that equation? Combine like terms. So what can I add up? 3x and x, which makes 4x, and then what? All the numbers. So I'm picking up my calculator. Hopefully you are too. What do all those numbers add up to be?
200.
200. And then what?
Subtract 200 from 360.
Mm-hmm.
It's 160.
Perfect. And then last step?
Divide 4.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. X equals 40. Dun, 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 dun. I don't want to rush anybody because I know it's faster for me to write with my stylus than for you guys to write in Pear Deck or on a Google slide. So you let me know when we're ready to go to the next one. We ready? Number 5 or slide 5, number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Slide 5, number 4. How do we start? Who has an idea? Find the total interior sum. I think that's a great place to start. How do I do that?
6 minus 2 times 20.
And what do you get for that? $720. So step 1 is 720, right? I find the total interior angle sum. And then what do I have to do?
Divide by 6.
If they were all exactly the same, that's exactly what we would do. So I've kind of set you up to think that because we've had regular shapes up until now. So all of the angles have been exactly the same. If we look in this picture, though, we see that U and V are exactly the same, and X and W are exactly the same, and Y and X are exactly the same. So here we need to subtract out all of the angles that we're given. What angles do we know? The 150 and the 90. And how many 150s do we have?
2.
And how many 90s do we have?
2.
2. So we've got to subtract out 150 twice. And we've got to subtract out 90 twice. What's 720 minus 150 minus 150 minus 90 minus 90? $240. Awesome. So 240 is shared between these two angles. And we know because of these congruent marks that they're exactly the same. So if I'm looking for angle U, how do I find that in step 3?
Divide by 2.
Exactly. So we're going to divide by 2 because half of it goes to U and half of it goes to V. So what is angle U?
120.
120. So you can divide this total angle sum by the number of sides if all of the angles are exactly the same. But if they're not exactly the same, you've got to think about it a little bit differently. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Number 5. Oh no, there's no picture. What words do I need to highlight? What words are important here? Polygon. So I've got a regular polygon. Regular means all the corners and sides are exactly the same, so we can do that division if we want. What are we given and what are we looking for?
Interior angle.
We're given the interior angle of 160. So if I draw an interior angle and I label it 160, I can start with a little bit of a picture in my head. What else do I want to know? What's my ultimate question? How many sides, right? So if I know the interior angle, what can I find pretty easily? So if you hold up your octagon, right, and we have an interior angle, if we extend the side of the shape, what do we have out here? What's that called? Got an interior angle and a supplementary exterior angle, right? So if I know the interior angle, what's the exterior angle? If they're supplementary? 20, because they've got to add up to 180, right? What was the total for the exterior angles? Always and forever in our chart. The exterior angles and the central angles were the same. What did they all add up to be? 360. So if 360 divided by the number of sides gives me that exterior angle, how can I find the number of sides if I know the exterior angle? Can I cross multiply? N times 1 times 20 equals 360 times 1. So 20n equals 360. And then what can I do to solve for n? Divide by 20. So 360 divided by the exterior angle gives you the number of sides. This is another formula that you can remember. 360 divided by that exterior angle is going to give you the number of sides. So if I do 360 divided by 20, what's the number of sides? 18. Love it. $360 divided by the exterior angle gives you the number of sides. This is just a bunch of stuff you need to memorize. It's kind of, I don't know. I think it's more fun to cut snowflakes myself. So with that in mind, 360 divided by the exterior angle gives you the number of sides. If I have the interior, I can find the exterior, and then 360 divided by the exterior gives me the number of sides. Let's look at number 7 and see if we can use what we did in number 6 to do this one. Here we've got a picture, which is always nice. Is the 35 interior, exterior, or central? Is that 135 interior, exterior, or central? Interior, absolutely. So So if I have an interior angle, can I find an exterior angle really easily?
Yes.
Okay, what's the exterior angle if the interior is 135?
45.
45. 180 minus 135 is 45. And then how did I find the number of sides with the exterior angle? What did I divide by 45 in order to get the number of sides?
360.
360. Say that with confidence. 360 divided by 45 equals the number of sides. So how many sides are in that shape?
8.
8. Some people will be able to just kind of see the symmetry underneath that block, but the way to calculate it and prove it to yourself is 360 divided by the exterior angle gives you the number of sides. 360 divided by the exterior angle gives you the number of sides. So what about question 8? You can do 360 divided by 8. I was hoping somebody would say that. Why 360 divided by 8? They're all equal because it says it is a regular octagon. Regular octagon means you can do that division. So what is 360 divided by 8? 45. I love the easy ones. They make me so happy. So what about question 9? You can. 360 divided by what?
5.
Mm-hmm. Everybody got number 8?
Yeah.
Okay. What about number 9? We did. What number did we just find, the x or the y? It was the x. So that exterior angle is 72 because 360 divided by 5 equals 72. And then how do I find that interior angle? Mm-hmm. And these are our pentagons from our snowflakes last week. So what did we get? 108 minus 72? William, perfect, 108. Okay, so we've got interior and exterior shapes. Exterior angles, always 360 divided by the number of sides gives you the angle, or 360 divided by the number of the size of the angle gives you the number of sides. The interior and the exterior always equal 180. So here in number 11, this is one of the reasons that we made those snowflakes last week. So if I take my pentagon and I take my hexagon and I match them up exactly, I want to know what that exterior angle is between them. That's what this question is asking. So I've got my pentagon and I've got my hexagon. They're matched up exactly, and I want to know that degree in there. So one of the things that we've hopefully gotten used to doing is extending that side. So if I extend that line, I have an exterior angle of my pentagon and an exterior angle of the hexagon. What are those two numbers? The interior is 108 for sure. What's the exterior? 72. We've found that like 8 times now, right? You're getting tired of writing 72, I think. What's the exterior angle of the hexagon? 360 divided by 5 gives me that 72. The interior angle is the 108. What's the exterior angle of the hexagon? What's this one here? 360 divided by 6, right? 360 divided by 6 equals what? 60. So we found the exterior angle of the pentagon, that was 72. We found the exterior angle of the hexagon, that was 60. And then in order to find that whole thing, what do we need to do with those two numbers? Add, yeah. So what numbers am I adding? 72 and 60, you betcha. So 132 degrees. So if I put my hexagon and my pentagon together, the exterior angle between them is going to be the exterior angle of the hexagon plus the exterior angle of the pentagon. And that's like as hard as it gets, I think. So talk me through number 11. What do I know? What do I need to draw? Okay, so is the 90-degree angle interior or exterior? Exterior, okay. So automatically, oh wait, what am I looking for? So what do I do for sides from exterior angles? They're all going to be 90-degree angles. So how many sides is that? 360 divided by the exterior angle equals the number of sides. So 360 divided by 90 equals 4. And that kind of makes sense. If I draw any kind of rectangle, I know the insides are going to be 90 degrees, which means the outsides are going to be 90 degrees. This means it's got to be a 4-sided shape. But it is definitely harder when they don't give you a picture, right? When you have to kind of invent a picture for yourself. What about number 12? Is that regular or is that irregular? Irregular. So because it's irregular, can I divide by the total number of sides or do I have to subtract?
Yeah,
I do have to subtract. So what math do I have to do? How many sides are there?
5.
Because it's a pentagon. So what's the total number of degrees? Can I use 360 or do I need to use that n minus 2 times 180?
N minus.
So we've got to do that n minus 2 times 180. And what's the n again?
5.
5. So what's the total interior angle measure?
5.
And then what do I have to subtract out?
110, 104, 1.
82? Do we agree? Is Daniel correct, or we're just running with it? I think they just trust you. Mikhail, did you get 82? William, Caitlin, Riley, 82? William got 82. You got how many? Let me check. So double checking your calculator. If you haven't picked up a calculator or opened a new tab with your calculator, you want to definitely do that. Don't just go along for the ride and assume everybody else is getting the right answer. Double check it for yourself. I think 82 is a really good goal. That should be correct. 540 minus 110 minus 104 minus 152 minus 92. I think we've got a couple more slides. Oh, maybe one more slide. Yay! So this question right here is another one, like why we did the Pentagon snowflake, right? Because when you see it in action, when you have that Pentagon and you put that piece of paper next to it, we had, where'd my sticky notes go? They're my sticky notes. Here we had two sides. So this is basically our picture. We've got a pentagon and we've got a straight line, and we've got exterior angles on these two sides that are congruent, right? I've got my interior angle that we can find with n minus 2 times 180. And then I've got these two exterior angles out here. How are those related to the exterior angle when I just do a straight line like that? How are those related? You do have to find it. So what math do I have to do? $180 divided by 5. What is 180 divided by 5? Boom. And 36 plus 36 is 72. And that's the 360 divided by 5, right? So if I've got a straight line, this is going to divide it into 5 little pieces. And if I've got a straight line, if I've got a whole shape, it's going to divide it into 5 big pieces. That's it. Because 36 plus 36 is 72. What questions do we have about this? Do we have any questions? Does it kind of make sense? I've only heard from like 3 or 4 people.